Hey everyone, it's Types, and the Pitch Black meta has been super interesting so far, and today I figured is the perfect time to take a look at it. So I'm looking at it here on Limitless. I do want to say I think I'm recording this video probably like a day or two before I post it, so there's some chance the meta changes. I'd be shocked if it changes drastically. Regards, did want to mention that here. And Pitch Black, of course, is the new set. It came out around like a week ago, and it is pretty cool. We're looking on Play Limitless here. I think it's going to be, pretty similar to the ladder meta and stuff like that, but theoretically it could be a little different because these are tournaments, though they're not like crazy serious necessarily. But you'll see some good decks, some interesting decks, and we certainly see some new decks here. We see other. I will dive into other here. I'm not 100% sure what's floating around there. I have a vague idea. I have looked at some, but that's definitely going to change a lot. But if we do combine the archetypes, we do surprisingly see Dragapult is the most played deck. So I've seen some Dragapult on ladder, certainly not as much as, it is good, right? You see more other decks, but you don't, Dragapult is in some ways underrepresented despite because it is very good. But regardless, let's just kind of hop right in and look at these decks. And I'll look at probably a few lists per deck. So we got a Pult list here. There's actually a few different builds of Pult. So we have Pult Blaziken. I'll look at maybe two builds of each. So actually, let's look at the builds in order. So we'll look at Pult Dusknoir. I'm not really going to go over the deck too much, or really at all. This plays literally no new cards, which isn't shocking, but it doesn't play any new cards here. I want to focus more on that. And it's pretty normal Dragapult stuff. I would say not too much to comment here. You could talk about the hand disruption, or sorry, it does run special red card and stamp, but the energy disruption with the Crushing Hammer and Handheld Fan. Handheld Fan, I think, is a cool design. I think Crushing Hammer, not a very fun design, but is solid in Dragapult there to like slow your opponent down and stuff like that. Let me see another list here. Also, we do see, actually no candy in this list. I'm not like overly familiar with that. I don't know how many candies it's normally running though. Maybe it's not running any and just like slowing things down. But regardless, we see that we got, a couple of candies in this list, but, it's doing normal Dragapult stuff, setting up, really just overwhelming your opponent with its versatility and power. And it's just very good there. Also, I will say I will be talking more about these decks on the podcast, One Common Fossil, which is just a regular video if you're not aware of that. And we're going to be talking about just the new decks, diving into them a bit more here, because I'm not going to go super deep into how they kind of play and stuff. But so we see this next list here. This is a Pult Blaziken list. I'll take a look at, I suppose, two. They look, I was going to say pretty similar. They look more than pretty similar there. I suppose I'll look at three. Okay, this one's a bit different than these other two, which are actually the same, unless I misclicked and actually selected the same deck twice, or same person. But regardless, we see Blaziken, of course, accelerating energies to Dragapult EX there, gives some more just energy on the board, less reliant on Crispin, which I do like, not having to rely on Crispin too much. And yeah, normal Dragapult stuff. Obviously, you can use like the rest items in the game and cards and stuff like that. Then the third Pult build, and obviously Pult not super interesting, but do need to talk about it. It is in the metagame. We see straight Pult. We see like Thin to Dunsparce line for a little bit of extra draw at some points. We see some Lucky Dories, and surprisingly, we see some Pokemon like Badoo, Moltres, in one of the builds here. We see Shaman as well, and in one of them. This list running the new item card Dark Belt, confusing both active Pokemon that aren't Darkness. I haven't played with Dark Belt so far. Tell me in the comments if you have and how that's felt, because again, I haven't played with it, but I think it's like, presumably it's okay. Kind of works with Crushing Hammer with like disruption stuff as well as like hand disruption. Overall, it's just a solid card in a bit of a slower deck like Dragapult. But regardless, that's Dragapult there. So we can move on to, I'll go to other at the end. Then we move on to Mega Excadrill. Mega Excadrill has been, I played it a little bit. We see this list with an Ethan's Pichu. We see this one without it. I don't know exactly the value of Ethan's Pichu. I mean, it's a free attacker. I guess I can knock out like Badoo or something. But regardless, the deck is built around a Turn 1 Precious Trolley with Team Marcus Petrol and Team Marcus Transceiver, which is really nice if you're going second and you don't prize it, which you can prize it. I played the deck just a little bit. I think I only played on video, maybe once off video, but it's certainly a fine deck. I don't really have too much to say about it, but you are using Botanic to accelerate 2 Mega Excadrill. And then you're doing pretty solid / quite big damage there. Again, relatively consistently. It's a pretty simple, straightforward deck to play, but it's decent. It can take big knockouts. It's, again, pretty linear. The Metagross single prize attacker is decent. I don't think I've ever attacked with... I've attacked with it in Slowking. I played a little Slowking and used that some, but I haven't really attacked with Metagross like within a Metang deck much. I just haven't really played much Metang since it's come out, so I need to play with it a little bit more. But I mean, it's definitely a nice option in the deck to have a single prizer there, and it's legitimately pretty good as well. So overall, the deck's decent. It's definitely a bit of a different playstyle. It's a Precious Trolley, set up your board style deck. We've seen this at different times. This is one where it's like, legitimately very simple and straightforward. You get the Beldums and the Drillburs and then the Genesect EX to then get the Metangs and Mega Excadrills. Theoretically, if Genesect gets knocked out turn 2, assuming your hand's not also disrupted, which is essentially impossible there. And certainly if your opponent's doing that, they're setting themselves back quite a lot, presumably as well. But regardless, in that situation, then you do have access, if the Genesect gets knocked out, then you will still have access to 2 Metal Evolutions in addition to what's already in your hand, which is okay. And then presumably you'll have access to more, because they probably won't go after the Genesect instantly. And then also, then you just like use your Metangs, make extra drill. Again, pretty straightforward. I'm going over the game plan multiple times because again, what it does is simple. So I have time to like just say all this stuff, and it's really that simple. It takes 1 shots, blah blah blah, big damage, normal Pokemon stuff. When someone thinks of like, probably if you're someone who doesn't play the Pokemon like TCG seriously or doesn't know about serious decks, this is probably what you'd envision, is my guess. Not very technical, pretty just like big attacker, big damage, big energy, big stuff. Then we move to Dhelmise, a very different deck. It's classified as Dhelmise, though I would call it Hide and Seek, I will say. So I'll take a look at a couple of lists. I moved to the 3rd list by accident, but I do think that, what's so list? Oh no, nothing crazy there. I will say the Bayonet line I don't love. Dhelmise is pretty decent. I play this deck just a little, and based on what I've heard and seen, it's decent, but definitely, I mean, it's certainly, Excadrill is definitely the simplest deck. Dhelmise isn't as simple. It is a little boring once like the game kind of goes on, in my opinion, though. Dhelmise is a very good attacker, Tournament going second if you can get it set up. And then as the game goes on, it's mediocre. I say a little matchup dependent, but certainly fine there. Overall, the builds I've seen have been not great. I'm not gonna lie. I think people are still trying to figure out how it like works. I've seen a lot of Bayonet. I've still said this. I don't think the Bayonet's super good. I mean, it's not terrible. It's very mediocre / underwhelming. Searching for any card is nice, but like it's not a deck trying to do crazy stuff, especially once you're set up. What you do is quite simple there. So searching for any card is pretty mediocre there. And then I guess you have more HP, but like, what are you worried about? Monkey Dories, Dragapults, they have Hide and Seek. It doesn't matter, right? This stops effects of your Pokemon's attacks and abilities done to the Pokemon with it. So Poltergeist isn't a liability and does have Free Retreat, which I do think is better. And I also want to see, honestly, I think Explorer's Guidance in the deck could be good as well, because getting the Pokemon in the discard turn 1 is a little difficult. You have Prism Tower, which I think maybe should be a 4 of as well. You have the Ultra Balls, and then you have like Gwen. Gwen is decent. I played with it a little bit. I played with it not in Hide and Seek as well to try it out, and it's a solid card. I'm not sure the right engine. We actually see this list here is running Spiritomb. I haven't really played, like I don't think been hit by Spiritomb. There's one game where I was scared about it, but ended up being fine. And I don't think I've seen anyone play it down. Maybe in Build and Battle, where it's like probably not. I don't think I've been hit by it in Build and Battle in with the Spiritomb there. But regardless, the Spiritomb's interesting, it's fun, and then the Sinistra's attack's also cool as well. I think it's probably about as powerful as Bayonet, like objectively in like on average, but Sinistra can be really good at some points. So I do think it's a decent option to have there. Overall, the deck's okay. Also, we see like Lucky Helmet. I don't know if that's particularly good. I haven't really played with much Lucky Helmet. It's a weird card, but it is extra draw, so it's probably fine. Overall, Hide and Seek is okay. Again, I think it's a deck people still need to mess with and develop a bit more to figure out the best way to play it. Again, obviously with all these decks, I'd love to hear people's thoughts in the comment section on them, because they're interesting, but they have a lot of, I think room to improve. I'm an okay deck builder as well, and I think like I've been messing with them some, and I certainly like haven't figured out how to crack the code there, but I do think that Hide and Seek is an interesting deck and is pretty good. Again, with Dhelmise really being the main attacker, and by far I think the attack you want to be using, like most of the time you can use Sinistra or even Bayonet if you kind of have to and you're in these kind of weird situations, but they're not usually super good. They're not doing anything really special at all, I wouldn't say. But with, the Dhelmise, that is special, doing, again, big damage for a single prize or for one, but then big damage for a single prize for one still isn't crazy big damage in the grand scheme of things. So the damage is short on just a random Pokemon. So overall, I think that the deck is decent. I think its ceiling, I don't know. I don't know where its ceiling is at right now. I think it could be quite good, like could be a legitimately good deck, or could kind of fall off in a little while. I think the same thing with my Excadrill. I think my Excadrill, again, in the long term, will kind of fall off. Certainly these new decks will fall off some, but the question is, like, how good will my Excadrill be? And Dhelmise / Hide-and-Seek, once, the next set comes out in, in Japan, the next set will come out actually in, I believe, this month, which is Delta Rain. And then we're going to see the next set internationally actually being the 30th celebration set. But regardless, I'm wondering how good these decks will be at that point. Then we see Festival Lead, the first, well, not first, because there's Pult, but other than Pult, the first deck that's not new, who is running one big important new card, which is Gladiant's Final Battle. I played just a little bit of Festival Lead with Gladiant's Final Battle. Honestly, I'm not like the biggest Festival Lead fan in general. It's fun, but it seems like it kind of just falls apart. I don't love playing it. I like Thwackey, but Dipplin is... I mean, Attacking Twice is cool, but it's not doing... I mean, the actual attack on Dipplin is very boring and generic. But Gladiant's Final Battle here says that you can only play it if it's the last turn in your hand, then you do 80 more damage. So it is interesting, and obviously it will stack essentially with the attack or Attacking Twice as well. It is cool. Definitely difficult to get down to no cards in hand, I think. It's not horribly difficult, because with Thwack you can search for multiple cards of your choosing, and you can play a good chunk of the cards from your hand, but you're not going to be able to probably play all the Pokemon all the time. And then, also, by the way, this list runs like Shaman and Rabsca. Surely you don't need both of those, right? I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's not what I'm looking for, but it is still... It's definitely, like, having protection on your bench is good, but also I'm thinking back to, I recorded a video yesterday, and I think it's being posted... It was posted yesterday as well, where I just, like, forgot Shaman, which was kind of awkward. But regardless... The Shaman and like Rabsca are interesting, and you can't play Battle Cage, so you are vulnerable to bench damage counters. Rabsca is going to stop those, but it is an evolution. Regardless, that's like the weakness of the deck. And you're very reliant on Stadium, though it's not that hard to find. But Gladiant's Final Battle is cool using Secret Box or Ultra Ball. Secret Box is actually really cool in the deck. Ultra Ball is important as well to get down to an empty hand there. So it's a really cool concept for using Gladiant's Final Battle within the deck, and it definitely helps the math quite a bit as well. And Brave Bengal's also really good. Brave Bengal's super easy to just chuck on. Gladiant's Final Battle is really difficult to, or it's pretty difficult to use and find the right time for. But I mean, overall, I just think that, I mean, it's an interesting addition to the deck. Also, I will mention Growing Grass Energy is actually pretty cool. I mentioned this like in a video. I was like, Growing Grass Energy is objectively like decent. Just having extra HP is objectively good, right? And the downside is in just a random deck isn't really too bad. We do see Bug Catching Set. If Bug Catching Set wasn't in this deck, it would not be playing Growing Grass Energy. Or sorry, it would be playing more Growing Grass Energy. That's what I meant to say. And I think probably as a 3 of is my guess. A 3-2 split there with 3 of the special energy. Maybe even a 4-1 split. Probably a 3-2 split. But I mean, ultimately... It's not super good, though. It's not objectively, or it's not like very strong, getting a little bit of extra HP. It is nice. Not exactly sure on how it helps the math, to be honest. Right now, I'd say it's more of probably a tech card in certain specific situations, of which I'm not sure what they are exactly. Maybe like Rabsca or something. But it is still a solid card, which is interesting to see it like C-play now that, it's in there's a grass deck that is, pretty decent. Not that Festival Lead was terrible before, but it's better now. But comparing it to, obviously like Ogerpon stuff, it's pretty rough to not be playing basics there. Then we look at the next deck, which is Zoroark. This deck, I don't think it's really doing anything crazy new, but the build is interesting. I played against this, and it's cool with like the Transformation Tome and also Enstomantan. I think Enstomantan is really nice. Overall, I think the deck is pretty solid. I haven't really played with it too much, to be honest. And Zoroark is just a deck I shockingly haven't touched too much, despite the fact that I think I would like it. So I need to do that at some point. And yeah, just mess with it. But it's a decent deck here. It does honestly a good chunk of similar things to Dragapult, having versatility, having power. In some ways, I think I mean, it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. I think people know it's pretty good, and I'd say, other than Dragapult being very good, it's I mean, like, there's the new decks in Excadrill and Dhelmise. Especially, it's kind of new, it's a fun deck. So, I mean, Zoroark is kind of fun as well, but it's not a deck for everyone. So, in that sense, it's like the quote top deck. Looking at win rate, it's actually doing pretty not great. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It's the lowest, or is it the lowest? I don't know. It's pretty low. Compared to these other decks, but also the sample size isn't super big. And when I say low, like 47 isn't that good. Win rate, how much does it matter? I'd say, I mean, like, you know, certainly any deck that's above 40% is probably okay. Certainly above 45 is probably okay for you to play. Not that it's great, but it depends by player and stuff as well. Regardless, Zoroark, though, is pretty solid there. Then we have Slowking. Slowking, honestly, a deck I forget about a lot. It's fine. Oh, we see Double Annihilate. So this card's new. This is kind of like Pult, honestly. Well, it's not quite Pult. It does 100 less active damage and places 5 damage counters, but we see that. We see Double Annihilate, which is kind of funny. Not sure exactly what Pokemon are being played in the deck all the time. Yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting. 2 Meteors to cure, maybe a Zoroark there. Annihilate, but I don't really love. I think Meteors is, I mean, I guess technically having 2 different options is nice. And then you have Lilies for Polar, right? And then we see the new Annihilate is pretty fun, though. Slowking is a cool deck. I don't think it really gets anything new outside of this like random Annihilate, which probably you're not playing. But the deck is pretty good. Obviously, kind of like Festival Lead, it's super. I don't know if swing might be the right word. It's explosive, but also it can just kind of crumble and not set up. It can just whiff. It's pretty sketchy. But potentially really good as well. Obviously, I know some people who love this deck. I don't. It's definitely a highlight reel style deck, which isn't really my thing, but it is pretty solid. And we see Alakazam. It's the next deck with a crazy high win rate, which is kind of just kind of crazy. Again, the sample size is small. I do expect that to drop some, but I mean, Alakazam, you know it, you love it, you do. Everyone, a lot of people watch this video really love it and think it's just absurdly good. But guys, we see it running Toucannon, which is interesting. Are they all running Toucannon? I guess they are. I don't think Toucannon is necessarily the right way to run it. Apparently, a lot of people are running Toucannon here. This one's back to like the Dunsparce. I assume the Dunsparce like surely has to be the better way to. I mean, surely Toucannon can't be the better way to run it, right? Like, you need cards in hand, surely. Like, and then Toucannon actually sucks up cards in hand. And so the thing is, with Toucannon, you have Toucannon, you have Pick-a-Back, and you have Candy. That's 3 cards. So then that's 3 turns of Toucannon, including the turn that you play it down, in which then your card neutral. And as an attacker, it's not that good. I mean, it goes through. I guess it means you don't. I was about to say don't need to play Enhanced Hammer, but we still see Enhanced Hammer in this list, which is kind of weird. And then I haven't really seen Alakazam with Toucannon, to be honest, and I certainly haven't played. I played some Toucannon. Toucannon is pretty fun, but yeah, I mean it's a fine deck, I suppose. You still gotta rely on Battle Cage and stuff. Surely Alakazam, Toucannon, like, I mean, they're like the same. I mean, they're not the same card, but they're like pretty similar, right? Like, they're these draw Pokemon. They're doing this like solid damage for 1 energy. Alakazam can do more and is a bit like, in some ways, Trumbeak is, Toucannon. I don't know if I was saying Trumbeak, which Trumbeak is in the deck. But Toucannon here is, it does like solid damage for 1 energy. I feel like it kind of covers the weakness of the deck if you get hit by hand disruption, but like, I don't know, you can draw out of it, and you can actually use the Dunsparce, right? The reason the Dunsparce is good is because if you get hit by hand disruption, you can draw out of the hand disruption, right? That's what makes the Dunsparce good, and that's the engine that we generally. I mean, you have Alakazam obviously as the engine for Alakazam as well, but you have the Dunsparce there, and as a regular draw engine, it like also kind of struggles. So we see this deck playing a lot of cards that take a lot of resources in and output a mediocre amount of resources, but they output a similar amount of resources to what they take in. Like, Dunsparce it takes 2 cards, it gives you 3 cards, which is, it's just like, I mean, it's fine. You look at Dracloak, it takes 2 cards and gives you 1 every turn. So it over the course of a few turns, it will give you more than it takes in. You also see more. Same thing with Zoroark EX. It's the exact same thing. You do, or I mean, it's slightly different as to what you don't get or what lose. But I realize those are going to, just not be. They're going to be better long-term engines. Dunsparce is this like bursty engine, and so I don't know. I feel like the deck doesn't need Toucannon. I feel like if the deck's playing Toucannon, either Toucannon's good or Alakazam's good. Or sorry, if the deck's feeling good, then it's because one's good, not both. Definitely not what I was expecting to see. As I said, I more or less knew what I was getting into going into this, but Toucannon, Alakazam, definitely weird. I guess I should try it at some point. But again, tell me in the comment section if you've played it, how it's felt, and if it's felt good, why it's felt good. Not that just that it's felt good. But yeah, tell me that stuff in the comment section. I'd love to hear that. Then we have the next deck here, which is Marnie's. What? Okay, I guess I'll look at Marnie's. I don't think there's really much to see here. Yeah, we got Marnie's with a Prism Energy, which is like kind of interesting, kind of funny. I suppose it's fine. It's not actively like that good or bad. This list is like the same thing. I think we do see a Dark Bell in it, which is cool. I suppose it is a Darkness deck, so it uses Dark Bell, kind of fun. By the way, the type is not Dark. It is Darkness. If you didn't know, we see a Toucannon here. I mean, Toucannon is okay, but I suppose it's a single prize option. I feel like Toucannon is a card people are just kind of tossing into random stuff. And it is legitimately a fun card, but also like it's not that good. I suppose it's probably okay in a deck like this, but also you're just going to be damaging it, which kind of seems bad, but it's probably not that bad. You're not doing crazy Frostlass stuff, so it's fine. It also takes up a good chunk of deck slots, but the deck works pretty well as pretty smoothly as well. So kind of cool there. I imagine most of the people. I mean, I wasn't, I guess, expecting to see Mars this high. So are most of the people running Trumbeak. Let's see. I'll look at the top 7, I guess. Is that 7? Something like that. So like some are, a reasonable chunk of different people are running it. So it is something that is, being played. I don't think it's probably the best way to do it, but it's probably okay as well. We got Mega Lucario. Don't expect anything really interesting here or anything new here. Mega Lucario, honestly, not the most interesting deck. It's fine, if you like it. It's cool. It's a cool deck, but nothing crazy. That Mega Greninja here. I've been seeing a good chunk of this. We see it with Pult in this list. We see this list as Dunsparce. We see this list as Dunsparce. We see this list as Pult. And we see this 5th list as Dunsparce. Nothing too crazy. I wasn't looking at, obviously, literally all the cards that's going pretty quickly there. But Mega Greninja doing its stuff. Obviously, you see, if you look at the Chaos Rising meta, Mega Greninja pretty high. We look at now the Pitch Black meta. It's not so high. Same thing if we look at Perfect Order, we see Mega Lucario, Mega Starmie. Mega Starmie is pretty high. Chaos Rising Mega Starmie drops down some. Pitch Black Mega Starmie is actually nowhere to be seen here. Yeah, it's pretty low, so it's interesting. And then looking at other decks, I guess I want to see if there's anything new that pops out. We do see Mega Absol Box. I suppose I'll glance at this. We see Mega Autono, definitely a pretty solid card. We don't see the new tool, which admittedly I don't think is that good, though it's okay. Not going to dig through all these lists looking for that, though. Ogerpon Meganium, which is probably, okay, it's Hydrapple, or it could be Arbolive as well. It's fine. Nothing too much to say here. It's a fine deck. We got Rockets. I can do anything, look at anything there. We do have Toxtricity. We do have Terrabox as well. I'll glance at Terrabox to see if it's running Toucannon. It's interesting. Toucannon's just kind of some random stuff. We see Toucannon deck here with the Ogerpon. We see this one is, wait, is that the same deck? It's a very similar list. It's not the same person. Or I think it's a similar list. Yeah, it's similar-ish. This is like Toucannon. It's the Toucannon deck. The Toucannon deck. Is this the same list? No, but it's very similar. Toucannon is like as a deck is kind of cool. You can do it with Terrabox stuff. It's all right. I think this is probably the best way to play with it if you want to lean into it. Then we see Toxtricity as well, which is playing the new Chiyu. I feel like I should probably be playing the new Mega Darkrai as well. We see this one leaning more into that. And this one is not running Mega Darkrai. It's very similar to this list. When I say very similar, it's very similar, not the same, but so similar. Overall, the new darker stuff is all right there. Then we have, I guess, Mega Manectric could be playing the new Manectric. This one's running it, and then this one is also running it, and we do see the new Voltaic Lightning Energy as well. Just a pretty solid card. Overall, the Lightning stuff is also good, or fine, like the Darkness stuff. Lightning stuff probably a bit, or the Special Energy a bit better. Trap Ghost Knocked Out, I think, would also be some Toucannon stuff. So we see, the top 3 decks from the new set being Mega Excadrill, Dhelmise, and Toucannon, which is mostly as expected. I do want to see if I can find the no cards in hand deck. I mean, it's probably not in here, to be honest. So I'm not going to dig beyond this, but I will look at other. I believe other is mostly going to be Toucannon, some different builds of that. I'll just quickly kind of flip through this stuff. We see this one is Hide-and-Seek. Okay, well, this is just like straight up Hide-and-Seek, though I guess it runs only 2 Dhelmise, so that's why it's not considered a Dhelmise deck. You see this deck is Mega Autono. This is just basic box. Then we see with Lisa's Appeal, or no, Lisa's Appeal, which is Gust. It's another Gust in addition to Boss, so that's a cool thing as well. It's a solid card. We see this. Is that the deck I just clicked on? No, they're just very similar. Then we see this deck here. This is Mega Darkrai, like a I don't know if Turbo Mega Darkrai. I guess it is actually with Gene's Secret, and it's actually using Abyssai as well, which is cool to see. I don't think it's very good, but it is fun. And we see Volcanion EX, which is a solid enabler, as well as a Dark Bell. So overall, kind of cool-ish deck there. I'd say it's relatively cool, just probably not that good. See, Chandelure. Chandelure is crazy. I just recorded and posted a video on that. Super fun. I played a list pretty similar to this one. It's definitely not bad. It should definitely be a control deck as well. I think it has to be control. I think as an attacking deck, it's pretty bad. I guess the single price Chandelure is okay. The Mega is a pretty horrendous attacker, I'm not going to lie. Its ability is also not that good. I'm also not going to lie on that one, but it's not terrible. It works. Like, the deck has some cool-ish stuff going for it. Honestly, probably the best thing about it is kind of showing how good the control pieces can be, because Chandelure's ability is potentially one of the worst in the game. Like, it's quite bad, because it's a stage 2, and you draw one card, then your opponent also draws one card. And technically, you could get them close to decking out, which is the idea. But realistically, they can just play their cards. So, you're just helping your opponent. It's a really sketchy, really funny deck, but it's really sketchy as well. But you should try Stall Machines. This person, okay, they're not playing a stall deck. They're playing Ogerpon, but it's Toucannon. Then we see this deck. I suppose this will be the last one to look at. Now we'll do one more, I suppose. This is Mega Darkrai. Yeah, overall, nothing super crazy from the set. I mean, kind of crazy with a lot of new stuff. I wouldn't say anything crazy revolutionary, but pretty good new stuff. Definitely a set that I'd say is living up to the hype, living up to expectations in some extent. And then the decks are interesting. It'll be interesting to see in the long run how good they will be as well. But I'd be shocked if, I mean, currently a good chunk of the metagame is new stuff. We see probably looking at maybe 30% of the metagame right now is new stuff in limitless tournaments. Maybe I don't know. It's really difficult to kind of categorize stuff as well. Or maybe not 15%. I thought this was my actual and this was Dhelmise, but no, they're down here. That's 15. Toucannon. Honestly, yeah, probably 30 to be honest. I do think the no cards in hand deck is really cool. It's legitimately absurdly hard to play, and also not that good, but it's all right and super fun. Definitely gonna be playing with that a bit more on the channel. But overall, the new set Pitch Black is super cool. As you can see, this video is not super long, but kind of long. But make sure you like and subscribe, because that really helps support the channel. And obviously, comment down below your thoughts on this. And also huge shout out to my YouTube members for supporting me. But I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.